Okay, for this section to review numbers 1 through 3, it's the instructions state to use the discriminant to state the number of roots and if they are real or imaginary. Roots, remember, are solutions, they're x-intercepts, and sometimes they're real, sometimes they're imaginary. The way we use this is we use the discriminant. We use the discriminant, which, if you recall, is that area right underneath the radical in the quadratic formula. All right, that b squared minus 4ac. So what we're going to do, remember, it's figure out how to use it. Remember, that's a, b, and c. Those are the coefficients, not the x values, just the coefficients. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with negative 4 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, since there's nothing there, it's a 1, times c, which again is 1. Alright, and we want to see what that equals. So negative 4 squared is 16. Remember, if you put this in your calculator, all negatives. If you put if you're squaring a negative, you have to put it in parentheses. If you don't, your calculator will do it wrong. It's one of those, you have to know how it works. Again, I have to know how this program works. So 16 minus 4 times 1 is also 4, which equals 12. Alright? Since we had a positive answer that was greater than 0, we will have 2 roots, and they will be real. They will both be real. Okay? Number 2 and number 3, you do the exact same way. Trying to move this over. Again, here, I'll change colors. Why not? We got A, B, and C. Those are your coefficients. So we start off with b squared, so that's 7 squared, minus 4ac, minus 4 times your a value, which is 2, times your c value, which is 9, and that equals 7 squared is 49, minus 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 9 is, almost lost my head here, 8 times 9 is 72. 72. Which equals, if you pull out your calculator, you'll figure that out. It's like 49, 59, 69, 3. That's negative 23. Alright? So, again, we have a number that's not 0, so again, we're going to get 2. Whenever you have anything other than 0, you're going to have 2 roots. But since it's negative, these are going to be imaginary. And it helps if I spell that with a Y and not a G. Alright. Feel free to laugh at Mr. Hunter. Most of my students do. Alright, last one. Again, we got A, B, and C. And again, it's the part underneath the radical in the quadratic equation. It's this section right here. So we are going to do b squared, 8 squared minus 4 times, again, there's nothing in front of x squared, so it's just 1, times c, which is 16, equals, alright, 8 squared is 64, minus 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 16 is 64, 64 times 64 is 0, 64 minus 64, I'm sorry, is 0, so we will have, this time, since it is 0, we will have 1 root, and the type, it will be real. So these are all 3 different possibilities that you get, and how you will go through 1 through 3 on your review.